Different people have different fears. Some fear ghosts, goblins, haunted houses, while others are terrified of long, tall, shaky, and dangerous bridges. Bridges are a source of anxiety and terror for a great number of people. When you first set foot on one of these horrifying and terrible constructions, you will immediately experience vertigo, which is a tingling sensation that is brought on by a fear of heights. Even atheists think about their God when they're on bridges higher than 12,000 feet. In today's video, you'll find out about some of the most terrifying bridges in the world. Number 10. Trift Suspension Bridge, Switzerland. The Trift pedestrian suspension bridge is one of the longest and highest in the Alps. It was constructed in 2004 in order to reconnect hikers to a hut that had become inaccessible due to the melting of a glacier. In the Swiss Alps, it can be found in close proximity to the Trift Glacier and the village of Gadmen. The railings on this bridge were upgraded in 2009 when it was replaced, and it also received stabilizing wires to keep it from swaying erratically when the wind blew. However, it does still deliver a burst of adrenaline. It has a height of 328 feet and a length of 560 feet. Number 9. Sidu River Bridge, China. If you suffer from a fear of heights, it is in your best interest to steer clear of this span, which holds the title for being the highest bridge in the world. The Chinese province of Hubei is home to this establishment, which first opened its doors in 2009. This suspension bridge has a length of 4,000 feet and is suspended more than 1,500 feet above the canyon below. You won't believe this, but the Empire State Building could easily fit below this bridge, and rockets were used in order to connect the two sides of it. Number 8. Hussaini Hanging Bridge, Pakistan. Due to the bridge's deteriorating state, it is now considered to be among the most hazardous in the world. Because the Hunza River rushes in its full strength underneath this gap-filled structure, this swinging structure is not for those who are easily frightened. Number 7. Puente de Yela, Mexico. This bridge can be found in close proximity to the abandoned mining town of Oyela, which is situated in the northern state of Durango in Mexico. The creaking wooden floor adds to the eerie atmosphere of this particular bridge, despite the fact that it goes to a deserted town. To our good fortune, steel cables that are strung between two towers contribute to an increased sense of safety. However, the steel is a more recent addition. During the time that German engineer Santiago Miniguin was building this bridge in the 19th century, those towers were constructed out of wood. This bridge spans a gorge and an elevation of 327 feet, is 2 feet broad, and is 1,030 feet in length. Number 6. The Royal Gorge Bridge, USA. This suspension bridge was constructed in 1929 and holds the record for being the highest in the United States at 955 feet. Strangely enough, it continued to be a terrifying stroll for the following half-century, and it wasn't until the stabilizing wires were put that it became secure. Number 5. 7 Mile Bridge, Florida. Knight's Key and Little Duck Key are connected by this drawbridge, which is 7 miles long. It's a straightforward causeway that consists of just 2 lanes and climbs only 65 feet above the lake. This pedestrian bridge is not very terrifying the majority of the time. However, due to its position, it is susceptible to the severe weather that is typical of tropical areas. Crossing the bridge during a tropical storm or hurricane, such as Irma, which struck the region a few months ago, is an especially nerve-wracking experience. This is the second bridge to be constructed at this location. The initial building was a less robust one. Remnants of it still exist today, and it featured a swing span that allowed boats to sail through it. This one was constructed to be sturdier and more resistant to the effects of storms than its predecessor. This bridge, despite its robustness, is typically shut down whenever there's a hurricane or extremely severe weather. Number 4. Aya Valley's Vine Bridge. The Aya Valley is home to an ancient vine bridge that dates back to the year 900 and was constructed there. This bridge may be found in Japan and stretches out for a total of 145 feet. Wood slats were used in the construction of the first edition of this product. These slats were spaced at a distance of 10 inches from one another so that vines could hold them together. This particular bridge is 50 feet in height. They've been improved throughout the years by insertion of supplementary vines and side rails. You absolutely need to pay a visit to this bridge if you have a healthy respect for heights. Number 3. Hanging Bridge of Gaza, Nepal. The village of Gaza in Nepal is home to an impressive suspension bridge known as the Gaza Hanging Bridge. The 1,128-foot-long and 443-foot-high bridge is mostly utilized for the purpose of moving animals from one side of the river to the other. The primary objective behind the construction of the bridge was to lessen the impact that cattle had on the flow of traffic along the highways. In spite of the fact that it gives the impression of being unsafe, a significant number of pedestrians and farmers who are herding their animals use it on a daily basis. Getting across the unstable suspension bridge may be nerve-wracking for some people, but it's quite an adventure to watch the animals make their way across the bridge. Number 2. The Deception Pass Bridge, Washington. In the state of Washington's Deception Pass State Park is where you'll find this 2-lane bridge that connects Whidbey Island with Fidalgo. If driving over the turbulent waters of Puget Sound on the bridge wasn't already terrifying enough, walking along the small pedestrian lane that hugs the edge of the structure can increase your level of anxiety to an all-time high. Driving across the Deception Pass Bridge on a foggy day when visibility levels are close to zero can be pretty terrifying. Number 1. Aiguille-du-Midi Bridge, France. At this elevation, a whopping 12,605 feet above sea level and 9,209 feet from the floor of the valley, you'll want to keep your eyes locked on the panorama of the craggy French Alps. This elevation puts you at an altitude of 9,209 feet above the valley floor. If your fear of heights starts to get the better of you, you'll be relieved to know that the bridge itself isn't that long. Because reaching here entails taking a cable car that rises 9,200 vertical feet in about 20 minutes, most people who are truly terrified of heights won't even be able to view the bridge. Nobody ever anticipated that humans could construct seemingly impossible bridges in the most inconvenient of locations. Some of them are so terrifying that just thinking about them makes your spine tingle.